Alright, Bridgerton fans, welcome back to the Wolfe Diaries. Today, we're diving into the world of Bridgerton, the glittering ballrooms, scandalous gossip, and oh yeah, plenty of drama. But today, we're focusing on a character who's a bit of a paradox, a heroine of sorts, but with a few, well, double standards. We're talking about the ever-so-spirited Eloise Bridgerton, the family's resident rebel, feminist, and, dare I say, a little bit of a hypocrite. Welcome to the Wolfe Diaries. Now, don't get me wrong. Eloise is one of the freshest, most fascinating characters to grace a period drama in ages. She's unafraid to question society's expectations. She refuses to settle for a life that's just about finding a husband and having a family, and she's constantly pushing against the limitations of her world. But, and this is a big but, her principles, her fierce determination to stay true to herself, sometimes come with a dash of hypocrisy that's hard to ignore. Let's break down exactly why. First, let's start with what makes Eloise such a breath of fresh air. I mean, how often do we get to see a young woman in a period drama who actually questions everything? Eloise has a real fire to her. She's the only one asking, why should women only exist to be married off? Or, why do we have to follow these ridiculous social rules? These questions are honestly groundbreaking in Regency era, and it's a huge reason why fans love her. I mean, who wouldn't love someone who's challenging outdated norms? And in the grand Bridgerton mansion, Eloise is this rebellious voice pushing boundaries, looking at marriage and society's demands with a raised eyebrow and a skeptical smile. It's like she's saying, I see your rules, and I reject them. That's super refreshing, especially since most characters in her world are all about fitting in. But as much as Eloise is a rebel with a cause, there's a flip side here. Eloise is quick to judge those who actually enjoy these traditions she's fighting against. And sometimes, that feminist attitude she claims feels a bit like a get-out-of-jail-free card that keeps her from even trying to understand others' choices. So here's where things get, well, a little complicated. Eloise constantly judges women who embrace the life of marriage or who just accept the roles that society has carved out for them. Take Daphne, for example. Daphne's found happiness in her marriage with the Duke. But instead of being happy for her sister, Eloise kind of looks down on her for choosing that path. It's like Eloise has created her own rules of feminism, but instead of being empowering, they're exclusive. She doesn't seem to recognize that other women may not have the same privilege or support to reject marriage the way she does. Daphne and Francesca chose love and stability, and for them, that's freedom. Eloise can't see that because she's stuck on the idea that real freedom only looks like her version. Even more ironic, Eloise herself has an incredibly free-spirited mother, Violet, who tells her, you can marry if you want or not. The choice is yours. That's a rare privilege in a world where young women's lives are controlled by men. And yet, Eloise looks down on women who don't reject societal norms like she does. Women like Cressida Cowper, for example. Remember that scene where Cressida confides in Eloise, saying that she feels trapped by society's expectations to marry? Now, Cressida's not exactly a fan-favorite character. But this was a moment where she's opening up about something real, something that affects every woman of the ton. But does Eloise listen? Nope. Instead, she was too wrapped up in her own non-problems, like her feud with Penelope or worrying about her former friend falling for her brother. Or other instances that really stick out are both season 2 and 3. We saw Eloise thumbing her nose at the other debutantes for never being rebellious against their mothers, or not having hobbies outside of domestic duties. It's as if other women's problems don't matter if they don't fit into her own personal crusade. Eloise might believe she's all about supporting other women, But when it comes down to it, she often doesn't put herself in their shoes. And this brings us to the real issue here. Eloise talks a big game about breaking free from societal norms, but she sometimes ignores the fact that freedom is a luxury she has because of the atmosphere Violet created, so that her children would grow up to be free thinkers and not eternally constricted by societal norms and traditions. Not everyone can sit back and wait for some grand purpose to appear. Most of the women in her world don't have that kind of freedom or time. And once again, Cressida was a great example of the lengths her father took to make sure she was married off to whoever and out of his house. Now, we have to talk about the most dramatic fallout in Eloise's life, her friendship with Penelope. When Penelope was revealed as Lady Whistledown, Eloise had every right to feel betrayed. I mean, her best friend was hiding a massive secret. But Eloise's response? She calls Penelope a coward. Eloise calling someone a coward? That's a bit rich, considering she herself is all talk, no action. She constantly talks about all the amazing, revolutionary things she plans to do, but have we actually seen her do anything groundbreaking? Not really. Penelope, flawed as she may be, is actually doing something, using her voice, even if it's anonymous, to stir up society, make a living, and create change. And while Penelope's actions aren't perfect, they're still braver than anything Eloise has managed. Eloise, meanwhile, stays in her comfortable world, talking about independence without really taking any risks. So, is it fair for Eloise to call her friend a coward when she herself is afraid to leave her own cocoon? So, what does all this say about Eloise Bridgerton? On one hand, she's relatable. She's young, passionate, and idealistic, but she's still figuring out what true feminism, true empathy, and true courage actually look like. Her flaws remind us that even characters we admire can be blind to their own privileges and double standards. Eloise's hypocrisy doesn't make her a bad character. In fact, it's part of what makes her interesting. In a way, she represents a very real struggle that many of us face, balancing ideals with the reality of our own circumstances. She's still young, still sheltered, and still learning that fighting for freedom means respecting others' paths to it too. So, there you have it. Eloise Bridgerton, the character we love, but sometimes just want to shake. As much as she's a firebrand pushing against society's rules, she's got a lot to learn about empathy, privilege, and what real impact looks like. But maybe that's why we keep coming back to her. She's flawed, she's human, and like all of us, she's still trying to figure it out. Let me know what you think. Do you see Eloise as a feminist icon with a few blind spots, or do you think her hypocrisy overshadows her character? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Hit that like button if you enjoyed this breakdown, and don't forget to subscribe for more Bridgerton deep dives. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep questioning everything, just maybe not as selectively as Eloise. Thank you for joining us on this captivating journey. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and/or subscribe for more delightful content, and I'll see you on the next one.